I just discovered a system that's getting me 6 to 10 booked calls every single day consistently, and it all came down to one script change. In this video, I'm going to give you the exact script, show you where to find the best cold callers, how to onboard, train, and hire them pretty much all automatically. And my calendar is literally fully booked all from this exact system because I literally duplicate myself. Let me break down the whole process so you can do the same. I literally should be charging you guys money for this, but you know I don't gatekeep. By the way, if you have any questions, DM me on Instagram. It's in the description. Otherwise, the first part of it and the most important part is honestly tracking, right? So what I realize is what you don't track doesn't get improved. So in the start of my SMMA, I thought I was closing at like 30%, which isn't even that great. I tracked it and all of a sudden I'm closing at 9%, right? It just amplifies and it shows you what you need to work on, but you only know what you need to work on unless you can track it and compare it. So really the main things you want to track with cold calling, you want to have a sheet like this. You want to track the number of calls made, pickups, how many people are picking up the phone, the pass-through rate. So how many people are you going through your opener, whether that's, hey, this is a cold call, this is a cold call, I'm going to be honest, you have 15 seconds, and I'm going to show you my exact script as well. But then you know, okay, if we're getting low pickup rate, it might be the numbers, right? So you can see today, this day, it was 44% pickup rate, which is really, really good. Now, if it drops to like 5% or something terrible, then we know the number is probably going to spam and we can get a new number, right? Now, then if after that, the pass-through rate number, if we're not getting a high pass-through rate, meaning people are saying, no, I'm not interested before you even pitch them, then we know we need to work on our tonality or the opener, and vice versa. Then you go interested, meetings booked, all that sort of stuff, add notes and call recordings as well. So with cold calling, this is one of the most important parts is when you're hiring a team as well, is that you need to go and track all of this data. Now, that's the first part of it, and making sure you're holding people accountable. And I'm sure you're wondering, how do you make 15,000 cold calls? Well, it's like I just mentioned with a team, like, right? Obviously, you can't do this alone. You need to basically multiply yourself. Now, the caveat is I only recommend you go and build a team with anything you do. The only time you should outsource is until you have a process in place where you understand exactly how it works, right? So if you don't know how to cold call, if you've never done it yourself, you're not going to be able to teach these people. Even if you think you're good at it, you're not good at it until you do it and you get proof of concept, just like anything. So that's the first part. Before you even think about building a team, make sure you've done it before, right? Because it's not as easy as it looks, right? They're real people that you need to coach and teach. You need to be a leader in the role. And it's so much easier if you have that experience you've actually had, right? So make sure you have a sheet like this and they're filling it out every single day, also for holding them accountable. And they should be filling this out at the end of every single day that they finish calling, just automatically. Now, the second part of it is, where do you actually find these people? So this is a question I get so often, but it's really super, super simple. You just look up appointment setters, cold callers, Facebook groups. It's literally all in Facebook groups. You can see like right here, people, hey, we're looking for real estate cold calling, right? Something like this. I'm gonna show you my literal exact post. You go right here, then you do just choose whatever, and you do looking for 2 cold callers to start ASAP. And then you do like commission based up to $2,500 per month. DM me if interested. Literally this exact post, it's that simple. You're gonna get like 50 DMs within like 20 minutes, like literally. And then what you do is you vet them, right? So after that's literally the exact post right there. Just go post that, and you're gonna get a million people commenting and DMing you. Now that's finding the cold callers is the easy part, getting people reaching out, but then making sure you actually vet them. I'm not gonna go through exactly how to do that step by step. That takes a while. Pretty much what I look for though is I want to jump on with these people. Make sure, what I realize is it's a huge priority to have culture fits. So for me, I'm not going to go hire someone who's like 50 years old because I can't even have a chat with them. So when I have my cold calling team, everyone that I had on the team was like they were like age 17 to like 26 or something like that. So it was all like in a specific age range, because it's like people who you can just go like and just hang out with and make jokes with. If you get someone who's like 66 and you're like 19, right, it's not going to be the best fit. It's going to be a bit of an awkward dynamic. Now I made that mistake at the start, but I realized it wasn't a good fit on either end, and that's where a lot of the churn's going to happen, right? So that's the biggest thing, is what I look for as a culture fit, making sure this is a person who I like legitimately like that. That's really what I look for. And obviously you want them to have good English, a good accent as well. That's important, right? So that's actually how you find the cold callers. Now I'm going to show you how I actually onboard them and basically just automate it. So I have this entire course that I built out basically for the cold callers. With the first module, you need to understand what these people need to understand. They need to understand the product, the offer, the service, all of this sort of stuff. I'm literally going through different modules, but it's all automated. Now, a way that you can build this out, because it is time consuming, is when you're onboarding your first caller, jump on calls with them, go through all of these, but you just record all the calls that you have with them. And then all you do is go put that in the module, and that's literally the course of you training them. And they're probably asking questions as well that the other callers are going to have. So it's kind of a win-win, and it just works super, super well. And then this is just made in Go High Level as well. Like you can add like quizzes in there, tests, and all that sort of stuff, which is important. But then a big part as well, and this is why I recommend that you've actually made calls before, is that you record some of your calls and you put booked calls in here, or maybe calls that you did well with, right? Or handling objections. You put call recordings in here, because just like sales, the best way to get better at sales is by reviewing your calls. It's the exact same thing with cold calls. So that's one of the best things you can give. The more call recordings you have, the better hang your callers are going to get of it, because they're going to understand exactly what it's like. Now, obviously, it's going to come from them actually making calls. And that's something I realized, that you can train them all you want, but it's never going to be perfect until they actually start making calls. And the only way they start making calls is by you covering up your ego, realizing this person's not going to be as good as me right away, right? But it's going to take time. And after a couple of days, you see, okay, this person really starts doing well, and they start ramping it up. And then as well, just make sure you're tracking all the metrics, so then you can see what specifically they need to work on. So that's the first part, but just make sure you can just put everyone through this automated course, and it just onboards them completely for you on autopilot. Now that's the majority of it. That's actually bringing them on. And this is honestly more important than the calls itself, because this is what most people do wrong. Now, along with that, you need to make sure, I will say, you need to make sure you have, I would recommend like a Discord, is that you have like a community in there with all your callers in there. There's a group chat. They can all chat in there. You're also posting wins. You give incentives like, hey, first person to book 5 calls today gets a $25 gift card at Target, or to Amazon, like whatever, right? Something along those lines. We're making it fun, building a culture, making these people excited to actually come and call for you each day, especially if you're doing commission based, where you're not giving them like an hourly or something like that, which you for sure can do that. But I personally like commission based for cold callers, because it keeps the incentive as focus on them actually booking calls, which is obviously the outcome that you want. But that's one of the most important parts. Now, this is literally the exact script that I use. This is one of them. I'm always testing as well different stuff. But this is the script right here, right? Super, super simple. This will get you pretty much far in any niche. So let's just role play quick. So yeah, hey John, yeah, my name's Noah. I'm gonna be completely honest. This is actually just a cold call. I was just wondering if you like to hang up, or I have like 15 seconds to quickly explain why I'm calling. Right. So even then, I would make it a little more concise, but I always like the permission based opener, where even if you're not saying this word for word, you're basically asking for permission, because these people get millions of calls, and you wouldn't believe the times that I say this, or my team says this. People are like, yeah, you know what? I'll give you 15 seconds, because no one ever says that. Right. So always start with a pattern interrupt. Whether you say, oh, sorry, my fish is drowning, or something like that. Or you can make you. I also like humor. Humor is a really good thing you can do. If you have like an accent, and this can be some sauce for you guys. If you have cold callers with accents, the start can be, and don't take this the wrong way, but it can be like, hey, is this John? Hey John, this is Noah here. I know you're probably thinking this dude has a stupid sounding accent. Trust me, I sound smarter. I'm smarter than I sound. I was just wondering if you have 15 seconds, right? Something like that. Now that's something you can do only if you're comfortable doing it. But my point is, humor is always going to work. And especially if you have callers who have accents, or you yourself have an accent, use that to your advantage, dude. Like, a lot of people come to me and they say, oh, I have an accent, I can't cold call, I'm not confident. That's a limiting belief, right? There's Indians who are just absolutely crushing with this because they're confident. That's what it comes down to, is you embrace it. And every accent has like its own plus side to it, right? Like there's a lot of like benefits, pros and cons to each accent. Even Americans, there's the cons to it are they hear the same thing over and over. So if you have an accent, it's literally an automatic pattern interrupt. So you're literally at an advantage. So that's not an excuse. But anyways, that's the first part of it. That's going to be the most important part. Now, basically, the next part is basically we want to get into it. And the whole premise of a cold call is you're not trying to find out, hey, or do you want to buy my service? All you're trying to do is see, does this person have any interest in what I'm offering? You're literally trying to get them to raise their hand. If they're interested, then you're booking them in a meeting. It's as simple as that. So for sure, yeah. So I basically work with contractors just to get them an extra, and you go over what they want. So they want jobs, right? I work with contractors to get them an extra 4 jobs in the next 90 days on a complete pay and results basis. Now, pay and results basis, that's one way you can frame your offer. The different ways you frame your offer is going to dictate the quality of leads that you bring in. So if you say, on a complete pay and results basis with $0 up front, then you're going to bring in a lot of people who are probably not your ideal client because they're like, okay, this is free. I only pay after I close. But if you say something like, maybe your offer is, hey, if you don't get 10 jobs in the next 90 days, I will refund your entire amount, your entire investment. You can frame that like a pay and results basis because you're refunding them. But if you say, like vice versa, if you're going to say, hey, we get you 10 jobs in 90 days, and you pay us money up front, but if you don't get it, then we refund you, right? That sounds a lot less intriguing than something like a pay and results basis. So it's all about how you frame the offer. And then basically, I just like going through a really high level overview of the process. So I generate highly qualified leads using a new XYZ system. You want to give it some sort of unique name. So they're like, okay, this thing sounds different. It's not just a typical Facebook ads. Even if it is, make it sound interesting at least. That's already helped over 40 people throughout the US increase their revenue, right? If you haven't worked with any right now, you can just say helped a handful. And I'm working with a handful of contractors throughout the US, just get a couple more jobs. And again, it's completely performance based. So you literally don't pay unless you make money. Is that something you'd potentially be interested in? And then you just end with a super open-ended question, something you'd possibly be interested in. And tonality is huge here, but you can see it is super simple. Now what you're going to realize, this isn't going to be your end all be all script. Like I have this entire document is just full of scripts, right, that I've tested. So I'm not going to go through all those now, but basically you're going to realize, okay, when you're tracking this stuff, you're realizing, okay, we're getting a good pickup rate, so that's not the problem. We're getting a good pass through rate, but the amount of people who are interested is very low. You can see it's today 10%, or this is the pass-through rate. But you can see number of people who are interested, maybe it's really low one day. In that case, we're gonna have to tweak this part. But the only way you know that is by tracking. And then just make sure you keep your callers motivated, keep them going throughout the process as well. And make sure that they, again, feel part of the team, feel the long-term vision. But that's literally all the documents there. If you want me to send you the script, the tracking sheet, any of that stuff, the onboarding process, the course, just DM me on Instagram. I'll be happy to send that over. If you want to learn, I'll also send over like the best Facebook groups I found and all that stuff. If you want that, just let me know, hit me up. I can send that over. Other than that, I hope this video was valuable for you. Hopefully you learned a thing or two. Now go book 20 appointments per day. Go make some money. And go check out the video on the screen right now that YouTube recommends for you. I'll see you.